Welcome in, everyone. I hope you're doing well wherever you're watching from. But we have breaking news right now, and this situation is developing. It is developing extremely fast, almost minute by minute. And you need to stay with me because the details we're getting are changing rapidly. We are seeing multiple reports coming in that U.S. warplanes have just carried out major strikes on Iranian positions. We're not talking about something small here. We're talking about massive explosions reported across several key locations and multiple impact zones. And at the exact same time, there are growing indications that this may not be a single isolated strike. This could be something much bigger. So stick with me here because I'm going to break this down step by step, and we're getting new updates literally as I'm recording this. Before we go any further, make sure you like and subscribe. It's completely free, and it helps the channel more than you think. If you want real-time updates like this, where we track situations as they unfold, you do not want to miss what's coming next. Also, let me know in the comments right now. Do you think this escalates further? Because based on what we're seeing, this might be the beginning. All right, let's get into it. So first, here's what we know at this moment. Early reports indicate that multiple U.S. aircraft entered Iranian airspace and carried out precision strikes on strategic military targets. When I say precision, I mean coordinated. Multiple hits, multiple locations, all happening within a very tight time frame. This was not random. This was planned. We're getting descriptions of massive fireballs lighting up the night sky, not small flashes, but large-scale detonations. That could be seen from miles away, and here's where it gets interesting, because early footage appears to show more than one impact zone. That means this wasn't just one target. This was multiple. So this was coordinated. Now stick with me here because this adds another layer. We are now getting reports that Iranian air defense systems were active during these strikes. That means this was not uncontested. You can actually see flashes in the sky in some of the early visuals, what appears to be anti-aircraft fire going up as these jets move through. That tells you this was an active engagement, and this is where things start to escalate. Because according to additional sources, there are indications that some U.S. aircraft may have taken fire during the operation. Now, we don't have confirmation on damage or losses yet, but the fact that this is mentioned tells you how intense this situation is becoming. Now hold that thought because it gets even more serious. We're also hearing that multiple follow-up strikes may have taken place. So this wasn't just a quick hit. This appears to be sustained pressure, and the scale of the explosions being reported looks like a major operation. And I'm going to show you something here, because the visuals being described are intense. Footage coming out of the region shows huge plumes of smoke, bright flashes, multiple detonations happening one after another. In some clips, you can actually see the ground light up. Now here's where things take another turn. We are now getting word that Iranian officials are responding. Statements are starting to come out suggesting retaliation is on the table. And if that happens, this could escalate beyond just these strikes. So now it's not just about what happened. It's about what happens next, and this is critical, so stay with me. Because at the same time, there are reports that U.S. military assets in the region are being put on higher alert. That includes bases, naval units, and air defense systems. That kind of movement is not random. That's preparation for a possible response. Now stick with me because this next update is important, and it adds even more tension to what we're seeing right now. There are also unconfirmed reports suggesting that some of the targeted locations may have included high-value infrastructure, and if that turns out to be true, it would explain the intensity of the strikes and the scale of the explosions we're seeing. But it also raises a much bigger question. Was this a warning, or was this the opening move? Because those are two completely different scenarios. Now I also want to point out something else here. Timing. These strikes reportedly took place under cover of darkness. That is not accidental. That gives a major tactical advantage. Reduced visibility, increased surprise, and a higher chance of hitting targets before defenses can fully react. So, this was calculated, this was deliberate, and that's why this situation is so serious. Now, as of right now, we are still waiting on confirmation regarding damage assessments, potential casualties, and whether any aircraft were impacted during the operation. But even without that information, the scale alone tells us everything. This was big, and it may not be over. Now we're getting new reports right now, and I'm going to get to those in just a second. But first, you need to understand something. The pattern we're seeing here is not random. Entry into airspace, coordinated strikes, active defenses, possible follow-up waves, that's a sequence. And sequences like this usually lead somewhere. Now here's the next layer. There are indications that communications in parts of the targeted area may have been disrupted after the strikes. That suggests critical systems may have been hit. And if communications are down, that's not just damage, that's strategic impact. Now think about that. If command and control is affected, it limits response capability. And that changes the entire dynamic. Now hold on, because this connects directly to what we're hearing next. Emergency response units were reportedly mobilized immediately after the explosions. Sirens, rapid movement, personnel rushing toward impact zones. That tells you again, this wasn't isolated, this was widespread. And here's where it escalates further. Some sources are suggesting there may have been personnel present at the targeted sites during the strikes. Now, we don't have confirmation, but if that's true, we could be looking at casualties. And if casualties are confirmed, the pressure for retaliation increases significantly. So now we're moving from infrastructure to human impact, and that's a major turning point. Now we're also hearing that monitoring systems picked up additional aircraft movement even after the strikes were carried out. That suggests ongoing activity. This may not be finished. And I'm going to break that down in a second because that's where this starts to expand into something much bigger. And this is where it gets serious because the latest information coming in right now suggests that what we've seen so far may only be part of a larger, ongoing operation. And you need to stay with me here because this is where the situation starts. To move from a strike into a potential escalation scenario. We're getting new reports right now that additional aerial activity was detected in the region even after the initial strike window. And that timing is critical because it suggests that something continued beyond those first explosions. Now we don't yet know if that was surveillance, repositioning, or preparation for further action. But the fact that activity continued tells you this is not settled. This is still active. And I'm going to connect that to something else in just a moment because it builds into a much bigger picture. But first, stick with me here. We are also seeing growing indications that coordination is happening at a higher level behind the scenes, and what that means is decisions are being made in real time. Not later, not after analysis, right now. And when decisions are being made that quickly, it usually means the situation is fluid and potentially unstable. Now this is where it starts to intensify even further, because alongside that, there are now reports that certain areas near the targeted zones have been restricted or locked down. Movement is being limited, access is being controlled. And that tells you something significant may have been hit. You don't lock down areas unless there's something important to secure or something sensitive to contain. So now we're looking at impact, response, containment, all happening at once. And that's a major signal. Now I want you to picture this because the visuals being described are incredibly intense. You've got a dark sky suddenly lighting up with multiple flashes, followed by thick columns of smoke rising rapidly into the air. In some cases, witnesses are describing a delay between the flash and the sound, which tells you these explosions were powerful enough to be seen from long distances. You see the light first, then seconds later, the shockwave hits. That's not minor, that's significant force. And this is where it gets even more serious. Because if those kinds of explosions were concentrated in key locations, the damage could be substantial. We're talking infrastructure damage, equipment loss, and again, Potential casualties, which we still don't have confirmed, but remain a very real possibility. Now hold on, because this next update is critical. We're getting indications that discussions may already be underway regarding a response strategy. And again, nothing officially confirmed yet, but the fact that strategy is being discussed tells you this is moving beyond reaction and into planning. And planning leads to action. Now, the question becomes, how controlled is that action? Or does it escalate? Because once both sides begin to move, escalation can happen very quickly. Now stick with me because this next detail connects directly to that risk. Defensive systems in the region are not being stood down. In fact, in some areas, they are being reinforced. That means whatever comes next is still being anticipated. No one is stepping back. Everything remains on edge. And that's the key word, edge, because when both sides are on edge, even a small move can trigger a much larger reaction. Now let's go back to something we mentioned earlier. The idea that this was not a single isolated strike. Because the more information we get, the more that theory starts to hold weight. Coordinated timing, multiple targets, continued activity, strategic impact. This points to something structured, something intentional, and possibly something ongoing. Now here's where it builds toward the most serious implication so far. If retaliation does happen, and again we are not confirming that yet, but if it does, the scale of that response will determine everything that follows. A limited response could contain the situation, but a large-scale reaction could expand it beyond control. And that's the scenario everyone is watching right now, because that's how regional conflicts begin. One strike, one response, then escalation. Now we're getting new reports right now, and I'm going to bring those to you as soon as they're confirmed. But here's what you need to understand. We are in a rapidly evolving situation. Nothing is final. Nothing is settled. And the next move could change everything. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think this escalates further, or does it stop here? Because based on what we're seeing right now, this still feels like the beginning. Make sure to like and subscribe for real-time updates, and stay with the channel because as soon as new information comes in, I'll be bringing it to you immediately. Thank you for watching, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next update.